Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders are not on the same page. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying. I'm not a lip reader. If you are, maybe you can help me out. But it looks like they are having a very spirited debate. And they are not seeing eye to eye. Shedeur didn't look all that great today. He looked okay. He had a touchdown. He had like 15 completions. I think it was like 150 yards. So I can tell you right now, it looks like Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur are not on the same page. In this offense, it is very hard to properly judge Shedeur because all they do is run the fucking ball. I mean, Shedeur ran into a lot of unique looks from that defensive line. And I think they got to him like 3 times. And I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but the Browns O-line ain't that much better than the one he had at Colorado. You know, what people got to understand is the Browns suck. They always suck. I mean, they got the best defense in the NFL, and they still suck. But as it stands right now, this is the Browns offense.
I think Shedeur's messaging is right here, and I think this would be the messaging hopefully Shedeur can share with Jerry. Not only is this going to take time, but you've got to let me lead you.
Well, this is part of the reason, we talk about not getting first team reps. Like, this is part of that, is that, like, that discussion exists because, right now, Shedeur would rather go to Gage Larvadan than he would Jerry Jeudy. Why? Because he has a connection with Gage Larvadan. He's already built that up. And the limited time he's had with Jerry Jeudy, we haven't seen it work out in a really successful way.
Kevin Stefanski just dropped a wild reaction about the Shedeur Sanders and Jeudy sideline blow-up, and it's got the entire NFL buzzing when reporters asked him about that viral moment where Jeudy was seen clapping right in Shedeur's face, yelling, "That's wrong, that's wrong." Stefanski's response lit social media on fire. He said, "When you're family like we are, you can have your disagreements. But that family line, yeah, that's what has Browns fans absolutely heated. People can't believe Stefanski brushed it off like nothing happened. Jeudy's been struggling all season, leading the league in drops, and now he's out here picking fights with his own quarterback instead of fixing his game." Fans are fuming that Stefanski ignored all of that, especially since Jeudy's never come at Dylan Gabriel or Joe Flacco like this before. And here's what's really wild. This is the same coach who refused to give Shedeur first-team reps for months. Now he's pretending everything's cool after his $52 million receiver openly disrespected his rookie QB in front of millions. That press conference didn't smooth things over. It made them explode even more. Because what Stefanski didn't say speaks way louder than what he did. The silence around this mess is screaming, and it's starting to look like this coaching staff has completely lost control of the locker room. Let's be real for a second. What Kevin Stefanski said in that press conference wasn't just a coach downplaying a heated sideline moment. It sounded like a man who's lost the reins on his locker room, trying to patch things up with some polished PR talk while chaos burns all around him. And the fact that his comments are blowing up online for all the wrong reasons says everything about where the Browns are right now. Here's the scene. And trust me, this part matters. Mary Kay Cabot, one of Cleveland's most respected Browns insiders, straight up asked Stefanski about that sideline clash between Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy. This wasn't some gotcha setup. It was a fair question about something millions of people saw live on national TV. The CBS cameras caught every second. Jeudy storming over to Shedeur while the rookies locked in on his tablet, clapping right in his face, shouting, and clearly trying to get a rise out of him. It wasn't just a quick exchange, it looked heated. So when Stefanski was asked about it, his calm reply shocked everyone. He said, "Football is an emotional sport, and certainly when you're a family like we are, you can have your disagreements. Sometimes they're for everybody to see, sometimes they're behind closed doors. But like a family, we move on, we talk about it, so I'm not worried about it." But here's the problem. That like a family line is getting absolutely torched on social media right now. Fans aren't buying it. They're saying real families don't just brush things under the rug, they hold each other accountable. And right now, it looks like Stefanski's trying to act calm while the whole locker room is boiling over. Real teams don't let a veteran disrespect the rookie who's out there giving his all. They don't let double standards slide. One quarterback getting barked at on the sideline while the others get a free pass. And they definitely don't look the other way when a veteran receiver who's leading the league in drops has the nerve to turn around and blame his quarterback for the mess he created. But Kevin Stefanski, he said he's not worried about it. Not worried. This is coming from the same coach who buried Shedeur Sanders on the depth chart for months behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, who refused to give him first-team reps, forced him to run scout team drills, and even let Bailey Zappe get real practice snaps over him. And now that same coach wants to act like it's no big deal that his $52.5 million receiver just embarrassed his rookie quarterback on national TV? That's not just wild, it's unbelievable. Let's break down what's really going on here, because the signs are all over the place if you just connect the dots. Start with Mary Kay Cabot's question during that press conference. She didn't just bring up the confrontation, she went deeper. She asked, what do you think is kind of going on with Jerry Jeudy this season, where it's just not going for him the way he or you guys would have expected? That's a heavy question coming from someone who's covered this team every single day. In other words, she was basically saying, Kevin, your top receiver is having a terrible season, and now he's going after your quarterback in public. What's the real issue here? And Stefanski's response? Total dodge. He brushed right past that second part of her question and went straight into his usual PR tone, talking about how disagreements are normal, how they're a family, and how he's not worried. But that's the problem. He never once addressed what's actually wrong with Jerry Jeudy this season. He didn't mention that Jeudy currently leads the NFL with 9 drops. He didn't acknowledge that the guy's on pace for only 51 catches and just 596 yards this year. Numbers way below what you'd expect from a $52 million receiver. Stefanski can keep talking about family, but fans see what's really happening. And it looks like denial is running deeper than the playbook. After catching 90 passes for 1,229 yards last season, you'd think Jerry Jeudy would know better. But nope, Stefanski never once explained why Jeudy feels entitled to disrespect a rookie quarterback when he's the one struggling on the field. That silence says everything. It shows that Kevin Stefanski either doesn't see the problem, doesn't want to deal with the problem, or simply doesn't know how to handle it. And no matter which way you slice it, that's a straight-up coaching failure. Now let's break down what really went down during that game, because the context makes it even worse. Reports say the confrontation happened right at the start of the fourth quarter, after yet another miserable offensive series from Cleveland. The Browns had just gone 3 and out, gaining only a single yard. Frustration was clearly boiling over. Shedeur Sanders was sitting on the bench, wrapped in his orange warm-up coat, locked in on his tablet, reviewing plays with the offensive lineman. Doing exactly what a real pro does when he's trying to make adjustments and figure things out. He was calm, focused, and staying in his lane. Then out of nowhere, here comes Jerry Jeudy, walking over with that attitude, leaning down over Shedeur, clapping right in his face and shouting, that's wrong, again and again. It got so heated that center Ethan Pocic had to step in and pull them apart before things got ugly. That's not passion, that's disrespect. Plain and simple. Calling that emotional football is just sugarcoating what everyone saw. A frustrated veteran crossing the line and a coach pretending it's no big deal. That's straight up disrespect. That's a veteran wideout who's been playing awful this season, choosing to blame the rookie quarterback instead of owning up to his own mistakes. It's exactly the kind of toxic energy that tears apart locker rooms and wrecks team chemistry. And Kevin Stefanski's calm reply, like a family, we move on, just made it worse. Because here's what nobody's asking him. Does this so-called family even have rules? Do they have standards? Do they hold people accountable when they flat out don't do their job? Because Jerry Jeudy sure didn't deliver when the team needed him most. He finished that game with just 3 catches for 26 yards. 3 catches for a team starving for someone to make a big play. That's supposed to be your top receiver, your $52 million guy, and that's all he could muster? And part of the reason he didn't have more was an early first quarter play that could have changed everything. Shedeur launched a deep ball, one that had touchdown potential, but it didn't connect. Reports are split on what really happened. Some say it was underthrown by Shedeur. Others claim Jeudy slowed down on his route. We don't know for sure which it was, but what was clear, Jeudy's reaction afterward. Cameras caught him shaking his head on the sideline, acting like it was all Shedeur's fault. No accountability. No, maybe I could have adjusted better. Just pure blame, directed straight at the rookie. And that's the part that stings. Instead of being a leader, Jeudy chose to make it about ego. Then later in the game, he took it to another level, walking up to Shedeur on the sideline, clapping in his face, barking in front of cameras, teammates, and millions watching at home. That's not passion. That's not leadership. That's selfishness. Plain and simple. It's the move of a player who cares more about his own image and stats than the success of his team. But Stefanski, he keeps saying he's not worried about it. How can a coach not worry when his locker room is this out of control? Now here's where the whole situation takes a wild turn, and this twist makes everything even more telling. When Kevin Stefanski was asked about Shedeur's performance after the game, he said, Shedeur had some really good moments in that football game. There are things he wants back that we're coaching up right now, things he can improve upon. But bottom line, we have to continue to put our players in position to succeed. Sounds solid, right? Except here's the problem. Stefanski's been failing at that all season long. He's saying the right things in front of cameras, but his actions haven't backed up a single word of it. This is the same coach who kept Shedeur glued to the bench for months when he should have been getting real reps. He refused to give the rookie first-team practice time, didn't build chemistry between Shedeur and the receivers during the week, and now he's shocked that there's no rhythm between them in games? Come on. Stefanski even doubled down in that same press conference saying, for the young quarterback, you only get better with more turns at this thing in these games. As you see more coverages, as you see more defenses, as you prepare versus different defenses, you only get better with more reps. He's right about that. Completely right. But guess what? He's the one who didn't give Shedeur those reps. He's the reason the kid is still trying to build chemistry with receivers he barely practiced with 2 games into his career. So when Jerry Jeudy's getting frustrated on the sideline because they're not connecting, the real question isn't what's wrong with Shedeur, it's what's wrong with this coaching setup. Because this isn't a rookie problem, it's a coaching problem. It's about preparation, or lack of it. Stefanski had months to get his young quarterback ready and build trust with his offense. And instead, he kept him on the sidelines while veterans got the work. Now the cracks are showing and it's clear who's to blame. But here's the thing. Through all this chaos, Jeudy Sanders has handled it like a pro. The kid showed real maturity in the middle of that storm, keeping his cool while a veteran lost his composure right in his face. That says a lot about who's really built to lead this team. Now here's the part that flips the whole narrative. Because while everyone's dragging Jeudy Sanders into this drama, the rookie actually came out of it looking like the most composed man in the building. Think about it. Your own $52 million receiver is clapping in your face, yelling in front of the whole world, and instead of snapping back or losing control, Shedeur kept his cool. He stayed locked in, focused on the tablet, ignoring the noise like a true professional. That takes guts, patience, and maturity, especially when the cameras are inches away catching every reaction. Multiple insiders on the sideline even said that Shedeur didn't say a single word during that whole confrontation. He didn't rise to Jeudy's level, didn't feed into the drama, he just kept studying the plays. That kind of restraint says a lot about his mindset. For a rookie, that's rare. Most young quarterbacks would have barked back or let their emotions take over, but Shedeur showed the kind of leadership that veterans should be showing him. And that's what makes Stefanski's not worried response even harder to stomach. How can a coach watch his rookie quarterback handle himself with that kind of composure while a veteran wideout melts down and still pretend it's just a family disagreement? That's not family. That's dysfunction being dressed up as unity. The truth is, Shedeur's earning respect in a way that can't be faked. The kid's taking hits, taking criticism, and still holding his head high without throwing anyone under the bus. He's not calling out coaches, not blaming receivers, not dodging accountability. He's doing his job while everyone around him is losing control. That's leadership under pressure. And while the media keeps replaying that clip of Jeudy clapping and yelling, what's being overlooked is how Shedeur's reaction might have just shifted the perception of him across the league. Because in a moment, that could have easily gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Shedeur showed class, control, and confidence. And that's something every coach in the NFL takes note of. So yeah, the Browns may be dealing with chaos, but don't let the noise fool you. Jeudy Sanders might have just proved he's built for this spotlight. He didn't need to shout to show leadership. His silence said it all. After the game, when reporters pressed Jeudy Sanders about the obvious chemistry issues with Jerry Jeudy, his answer couldn't have been more professional. He said, as players and teammates, we have to be able to gel with each other and be comfortable with each other in every situation. That takes time. It takes a lot of things. We're going to have sparks, but it's going to take time to develop that chemistry with everybody to be on the same page with Jerry. That right there is pure class. That's leadership under pressure. Shedeur could have easily thrown Jeudy under the bus. He had every reason to. He could have said, yeah, he was wrong to come at me like that, or even pointed out that Jeudy leads the entire league in drops. But he didn't. Instead, he chose the high road, focused on growth, and talked about building chemistry, something Kevin Stefanski never gave him enough time to do by keeping him benched for so long. And then Shedeur doubled down on accountability. When asked about his own performance, he said, obviously we lost, so I didn't play well. There are definitely things on film I'm going to look back on and want to fix, but at least moving forward, I know what we could do differently. Going into the week, I'll make sure I'm fully prepared for every situation. That's ownership. That's maturity. You've got a rookie quarterback taking full responsibility for a loss. Even though the special teams muffed punts, Harold Foam fumbled on 4th down, Jerry Jeudy only caught 3 passes, and the offensive line couldn't protect him to save their lives. He didn't make excuses, didn't shift blame. He stood there and owned it like a real leader. And meanwhile, what's Kevin Stefanski's response to all of this chaos? The same tired line. Like a family, we move on. I'm not worried about it. Seriously? Your rookie is showing more accountability and leadership than half the veterans on your roster, and the best you can say is that you're not worried. That's not coaching. That's deflecting. Right now, Shedeur's acting like the steady hand this team desperately needs, while Stefanski's pretending everything's fine when it clearly isn't. That press conference response is going viral, and not for the reasons Kevin Stefanski hoped. Browns fans are tearing him apart in the comments, and the reactions are brutal. People are saying things like, "This family needs a divorce, and your best receiver is trash," and attacking your QB. Maybe you should be worried about it, Kevin. The message from the fan base couldn't be clearer. Nobody's buying the fake calm anymore. Stefanski's leadership is being questioned everywhere, and his polished PR talk isn't fooling anyone. But here's where things really get interesting. Not because of what Stefanski said, but because of what he didn't say. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words, and in this case, his silence is deafening. He didn't defend Shedeur Sanders once. He didn't call out Jerry Jeudy for crossing the line. He didn't even acknowledge that Jeudy's been underperforming all season. And most importantly, he didn't explain why Jeudy thinks he can walk up to a rookie quarterback, clap in his face, and act like the victim when he's the one leading the league in drops. And here's the thing, Jeudy never pulled that kind of energy with Dillon Gabriel or Joe Flacco, even when they were throwing passes into the dirt. So why now? Why is Shedeur the target? That's the part Stefanski refuses to touch, and that silence says everything. It shows that either he can't control his locker room, or worse, he won't control it. Either way, that's a massive problem for a coach trying to keep a team together. But you know what makes it even crazier? In that same press conference, when Tony asked Stefanski about the 4th-and-1 play where the Browns were completely out of sync because Wyatt Teller had to sub in after Jack Conklin's injury, Stefanski actually admitted fault. He said, we had the injury to Jack, which caused some moving parts with KT, and so we had Wyatt out there late. That's something we need to be better about as an offensive unit, as coaches, as players. So he can admit when coaching mistakes happen on the field, but not when his locker room's falling apart. That's wild. He's willing to take blame for a substitution error, but won't address a sideline meltdown that the whole world saw. That's not leadership, that's selective accountability, and fans are starting to call it exactly what it is. But when it comes to Jerry Jeudy straight up confronting Shedeur Sanders on the sideline, suddenly it's all, "We're a family, not worried about it." That's pure hypocrisy, and Browns fans see right through it. The frustration isn't just about this one comment, it's about what it represents. Stefanski's pattern of dodging accountability has become impossible to ignore. So let's connect the dots, because the bigger picture here is messy. Stefanski kept Shedeur buried on the bench for months, even while Dillon Gabriel looked absolutely lost in 5 straight starts. Fans were begging for a change, the media was calling it obvious, and yet Stefanski stayed stubborn. Then when Shedeur finally got his shot and led the Browns to a win over the Raiders, you think the coach would back his young QB, right? Nope. Instead, he told reporters he was going week to week with the quarterback position, refusing to commit to Shedeur as the starter. That's not confidence, that's mixed signals. And when Shedeur played his second game, going up against one of the toughest defenses in football, the San Francisco 49ers, he still held his own. He didn't throw a single interception, posted a 93.6 passer rating, and actually put up numbers close to Brock Purdy's that day. The kid showed poise, composure, and control. But the Browns still lost, not because of Shedeur's play, but because of brutal special teams mistakes and costly fumbles. Any other coach would have stepped up and said, "My rookie did his job, the rest of the team has to clean things up," but not Stefanski. Instead, he brushed past Shedeur's progress, talking about things he wants back and learning moments. And now, when Jerry Jeudy, who's having one of his worst seasons ever, decides to publicly go after that same rookie quarterback, Stefanski once again refuses to defend his guy. That's the pattern fans are calling out. When veterans mess up, Stefanski protects them. When the rookie steps up, Stefanski keeps the leash tight, and that double standard is exactly why his family line is blowing up online. Because it doesn't sound like family at all. It sounds like favoritism disguised as leadership. So once again, Shedeur's on the sideline getting disrespected, and Kevin Stefanski's only response is, "We're a family, not worried about it." You see the pattern now, right? Stefanski refuses to fully commit to Shedeur Sanders. He refuses to defend him publicly, and he refuses to hold veterans accountable when they cross the line. At this point, it's starting to feel like he's waiting for Shedeur to fail, just so he can slide back to Dillon Gabriel or angle for another quarterback in the draft. And Browns fans, they've had enough. The frustration is pouring out all over social media, especially under Mary Kay Cabot's tweet showing Stefanski's quote. The replies are ruthless. People saying things like, "This is why we're 3-9, and Stefanski has completely lost the locker room." Others are calling him out directly with comments like, "Maybe if you actually coached Jerry Jeudy up, he wouldn't be leading the league in drops." And one that's getting tons of likes simply says, "Shedeur deserves better." And you know what? They're absolutely right. Shedeur does deserve better. He deserves a coach who will stand up for him when a teammate crosses the line, a coach who will hold everyone, veterans included, accountable when they mess up. He deserves someone who will set him up for success instead of keeping him benched for months, then tossing him into games without real preparation or chemistry with his receivers. But that's not what he's getting right now, and that's exactly why Kevin Stefanski's family comment is going viral, because fans see it for what it is. Hollow talk from a coach who's losing the locker room and the fan base at the same time. Now, to be fair, Stefanski did say one thing that gives a small hint of hope. When Mary Kay asked him about Shedeur's progress, he said, "I'm pleased with his progress. He wants to continue to get better and better, and that's the right attitude to have, and that's why we'll continue to work." That's the bare minimum of what any coach should say about his young quarterback, but at least it's something. At least he acknowledged that Shedeur has the right mindset, and at least he confirmed that Shedeur will start in Week 14 against the Titans. But here's the thing. In the NFL, words are cheap. Stefanski can stand at the podium and say he's pleased with Shedeur's progress all he wants, but until he proves it with his actions, fans aren't going to believe a word of it. But if Kevin Stefanski isn't going to defend Shedeur when Jerry Jeudy straight up attacks him on the sideline, if he's not going to hold veterans accountable for playing poorly, and if he's not going to commit to giving his rookie quarterback the rest of the season to grow and develop, then those nice words in press conferences don't mean anything. In the NFL, actions speak louder than words, and Stefanski's actions scream that he doesn't truly believe in Shedeur Sanders. He kept the kid buried on the depth chart for months. He refused to give him first-team reps while the offense struggled. He's still going week to week with his quarterback instead of stepping up and naming Shedeur the starter for the rest of the season. And when Shedeur finally gets disrespected on the sideline, what does Stefanski say? "We're a family, not worried about it." That's not leadership, that's avoidance. Those are the words of a coach who's either scared to make a real decision or just flat out doesn't know what to do next. And in the NFL, that kind of indecision doesn't last long. It gets you fired. Now let's wrap this up because this part is bigger than one argument or one game. When you step back and look at the full picture, the Jerry Jeudy confrontation, Stefanski's soft response, and his ongoing refusal to commit to Shedeur, the real story becomes crystal clear. This isn't about emotional football. It's not about a family disagreement. It's about a coaching staff that's failed at the most important job it has, developing its young quarterback and keeping the team together. You've got a veteran receiver playing one of the worst seasons of his career, blaming everyone but himself. You've got a head coach spinning press conference lines while his locker room falls apart behind the scenes. And the worst part, the entire football world sees it now. That "we're a family" quote is going viral because fans and analysts alike see right through it. They recognize the empty platitudes, they see the dysfunction, and they see a talented rookie quarterback being set up to fail by the very coaching staff that's supposed to build him up. Meanwhile, Jeudy Sanders, the rookie everyone keeps doubting, is quietly proving he belongs. He completed 16 of 25 passes, threw 0 interceptions, protected the football, and carried himself with maturity far beyond his age in his post-game comments. He took accountability for a loss that wasn't even on him, while the veterans around him and the coaching staff dodged theirs. That's the real story. Not just a sideline scuffle, but a young leader shining through chaos, surrounded by people who still don't realize he might be the one thing holding this team together. That right there, that's what a true franchise quarterback looks like. Calm under pressure, focused, accountable, and mature beyond his years. But if Kevin Stefanski can't see that, can't defend that, and can't commit to building around that, then maybe the real problem isn't Shedeur Sanders or even Jerry Jeudy. Maybe the real issue is a coach who keeps saying he's not worried while his entire team is falling apart right in front of him. So let's talk about it. Do you think Kevin Stefanski handled this situation the right way? Should he have stepped up and defended Shedeur when his veteran receiver crossed the line? Should he have called out Jerry Jeudy for that sideline outburst instead of hiding behind the "we're a family" excuse? Or do you think Stefanski's just lost touch with what's really going on in his locker room? Because to a lot of people, that "we're a family" line sounds completely tone deaf right now. The team's 3-9, the chemistry's a mess, and the only person showing real leadership is the rookie quarterback who's been thrown into chaos. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think. If you believe Stefanski's response was weak and he should have had Shedeur's back, smash that like button. If you think Shedeur is showing more maturity than the veterans around him, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because this story, it's far from over. Something tells me Kevin Stefanski's job security is about to become the biggest topic in Cleveland. And you better believe we'll be here breaking it all down. Like, share, and comment below. And I'll see you on the next one.